Harvard Business Review points out that 80% of turnover is due to bad hiring decisions. The Labor Department estimates it costs 1/3 a new hire's annual salary to replace him or her. But when you look at the total cost of recruiting, manager and coworker time, training and development, productivity losses, unemployment compensation, salary, administrative overhead, severance, overworked staff, lost time, missed opportunities, and lost business, the Society of Human Resource Management says it costs 5 times a bad hire's annual salary. The higher the position, the longer they remain, and the higher the cost will be to replace them. If they are not exceptional, they are not acceptable. Build with the best, hire for success. We can recite the slogans, but we don't really know how to implement them. Traditionally, we screen resumes and we interview candidates based on skills, but 90% of the problem that we have in hiring isn't related to the questions that we ask or don't ask of the candidate. It's around the questions we don't ask of the position. Essentially, we're hiring people for what they know, and we're firing them for who they are. How do we distinguish the perfect looking candidate from the person who is actually perfect for the job? What are the behaviors necessary for success in the job? How do you select those behaviors? How do you listen for those behaviors beyond the skills? How do you assess your candidates for those behaviors and score them for comparison between your candidates? Is it even possible to predict those behaviors in terms of performance on the job? Behavioral interviewing lets you predict how the candidate will do on the job before the hire or before you reassign a candidate. So behavioral hiring allows you to get alignment of the individual with the role. The first step in that alignment is to define the behaviors. The second is to identify and score the candidates against those behaviors. And the third is to measure the success of the candidate in that role so you can continually improve that process. Sound good? Before we decide whether it's worth our time, let's find out how the process worked for Patty. Patty has been with the company for 6 years, mostly in channel sales. She understands the products and the culture, and she's been asked to grow inside sales. Now, Patty has worked with customer service for several years. Customer service provides quotes and answers questions about ship times and product specifications. It takes orders, it sends out information, and occasionally makes outbound sales calls. And outbound sales calls are all that there is to inside sales today. So she has personal experience with inside sales. Patty begins by identifying and speaking with reps that seem to find time to make outbound calls and appear successful in making those calls every day. Along with the floor supervisor and the inside sales manager and a couple of field salespeople, Patty and the inside sales team meet with HR to clarify and document how a successful inside salesperson thinks and behaves. The question she wants to answer: why are they successful? What is their mindset during the calls? What do they make a habit of? What motivates them? How do they interact with prospects and customers or peers? HR brings the team together in a position specification workshop to introduce the ideal behavioral traits and bring the role of inside sales reps into focus. How does an inside sales rep think, act, and react? How are they motivated? The discussion settles on 10 behavioral traits, and then a facilitated paired comparison exercise produces a ranked profile of the 10 behaviors. A sudden moment of hush, of silence fills the room. There on the board are the behavioral traits defining the behaviors necessary for success in the inside sales position, in order of priority. Now what? Well, each behavioral trait has a set of open-ended questions that score each candidate's responses against predefined questions. HR talks through the interviewing process and provides a set of behavioral interview scorecards. The behavioral interviews can then be summarized as an assessment of current competency levels and plotted to a competency scorecard. Now Patty knows which behaviors to look for when hiring new sales reps. She can use the competency scorecard to hire more people with both the skills and the behaviors they need for success. If you'd like to know more about conducting a position definition workshop, just drop me a note and I'll send you this description and an outline of how to do the workshop. With behavioral interviewing, Patty can now avoid hiring a candidate who has credentials in chemistry, but none of the talent necessary for success. The insights that she gains from behavioral interviewing save Patty's company tens of thousands of dollars each year from bad hiring decisions. The behavioral interviewing also provides insight into motivational elements, which can help management assist every new hire in reaching maximum professional growth, productivity, and career satisfaction. Use behavioral interviewing as a way of uncovering behaviors so that you can hire excellent inside sales reps and not resumes. If you'd like a copy of these scorecards or these behaviors, just drop me a note. Thanks for joining us today. This is an idea engine on behavioral hiring.